All right, we will open the Pownal Board of Directors meeting for August 16th, 2017. First thing on the agenda, if we all stand, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. We have no presentation. And usually when we have a presentation, it's some classroom that comes up, and thanks to this young man here, he's brought that forward, and we have really enjoyed that. That's really nice. Unfortunately, we don't have any because there's no school. Okay. Do we have any public comment? Big crowd. One at a time, please. All right, no public comment. Let's go right down to our action items. The finance is the treasurer's report for June and July. Need a motion?
So moved.
A motion been made. Second. Is there any discussion on either June or July? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. It's unanimous. Okay. All right. Next, we have the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? The only thing I questioned was the elevator. Every month now they're coming, and I thought we were
Going to every other.
every other month. Yeah, so we're going to ask, Todd's going to ask our maintenance guy why. Okay, is there any other discussion on it? If there, hearing none, all those in favor of the consent agenda? That's unanimous. Okay, now we're down to policies. 3100 transportation. This is to warn.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on 3100 transportation?
Did they change stuff the way you wanted it?
They
Yes.
did change.
They did.
Is it to your satisfaction?
Yes. After we asked them, Dick Fran said that he appreciated our bringing it forward, that he changed it right away. So we're all set with that. So any other discussion on it? All right. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. It's unanimous. And that one again is to warn. The next one to warn is 4327, family and medical leave.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. This one also is to warn. Is there any discussion on the 4327? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Okay. I'm assuming when it's quiet, you're not reading it. You've already read it before you got here, right?
Yep.
Right, John?
Yes, Jeff.
Okay. All right, facilities update. And for that, we'll turn to Todd.
So I spoke to Kevin this week, and we're pretty much on track with everything to get the building ready. I do want to thank Kevin and the custodial crew. A lot of the college students are getting ready to depart back to college, but it was really a good team working together, getting the building ready. And like I said, there's a few little things to do yet. CL White was here this week to button up the windows and finish the 4 classrooms down here in the primary wing. So those are finished, and Sam Kelson was working on the 3rd water tank downstairs. So I think we'll be on track to start on the 5th. I hope all the other schools are.
Yeah.
Did you know if he got back up of the paint on the ceiling or on the roof? The white paint?
That I don't know. I'll check on that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. So we can officially say that all the windows are in and done?
I'm going to wait for Kevin to put that in writing for all board members, because I think we said we wanted that. In writing, stamped, sealed, and delivered.
Because we've been hearing that for 3 years.
Right.
I know. Just when we think they were all done, and it's, oh wait, there's 4 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to have that in
Excellent.
writing from.
Yes, we do. He'll get a kick out of that. Okay. Otherwise, the school looks very nice. They did a great job as usual. I mean,
Yeah.
he's we're very pleased that he's actually with us. Okay. All right, next on
Bennington
our,
will like it?
excuse me?
Think Bennington will like it when we give it to him?
Yeah. No comment. Okay, next on our agenda is off-contract wages, and I do believe that we should be in executive session for this.
Do we need to go into one? Do we have something to talk about?
The off-contract wages.
So moved to go into executive session.
I
Why don't
would.
we wait till
Yeah.
afterwards?
The end.
Oh, you want to wait till the end?
Want to wait to the end?
Okay.
Yeah, wait till the end.
I agree.
All right. Now, what is this 313-1B? Is that for the off-contract wages?
I don't believe so.
B. What is that for? There's no explanation. But it's not just me.
I don't see
I was
anything.
just gonna see if they had a corresponding paper to 5B.
For what? Say that again?
I was just looking for corresponding paperwork to 5B, the one VSA section 3.
Yeah. I'm not sure what that refers to.
I missed it before.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Superintendent Colquhoun might help with
Yes. We have a question. Welcome.
All right.
On our agenda, under the 1 VSA, section 313A1B, what does that refer to?
So that would be executive session for your off-contract personnel to discuss what pay raise you want to give them.
Oh, so that.
So you don't have to do it in executive session. If you do, that's the number that,
Oh, that refers
for
to,
contract
okay.
negotiations.
And we said we were going to do that at
Okay.
the end of the meeting.
We're going to do
Yep.
it at the end.
Very good.
Okay. All right, very good. So,
You're up.
we're up.
You're-
We're up. We're on number 6, superintendent's report.
Just talk to you a little about Act 46. Some of you have been coming to those meetings. Where we're on that, the Articles of Agreement went to Donna Russo Savage, who works for the Agency of Education. They were completed by our consultant, Dan French, and they also went to our attorney, Steve Stitzel, for review. Then the intent of the committee is to take that and draft that into a ballot article that, in all probability, will be scheduling special board meetings of each board to decide whether you want to warn that for a public vote. Once we have that back from our attorney, we will schedule those special meetings. It would be a one-item agenda. We're thinking of doing it similar to how we did the ratification of the teacher's contract last night, do a carousel meeting.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Then we can completely review it all together, and each board can then individually vote on whether they warn it. As you know, we're looking for an October 10th date to hold that public election. And so we have a window of no sooner than 45 days, no later than 30 days to get that warned. So that puts us somewhere around the 28th of August for the 45-day, and no later than September 10th. So we're looking more to do it in the latter week of August. Once we had hoped to warn it for next Wednesday, which is the SU meeting, maybe do the carousel meeting before next Wednesday's SU meeting. But I am not confident that we'll have all the paperwork back in time to warn that.
What's the rush? I mean, I feel like we're being pushed.
Well, the rush is,
Gonna be done by November 30th.
Right.
You're gonna have 30 days between votes to let people complain or to recall.
yeah. So we have to have this all done by state the law by November 30th. And as John said, if we wait, so sure, we could do an election on November 29th, but then if that vote got challenged, the 30-day window is gone. So we really need to do it 30 days prior to November 30th, the deadline, to submit it to the state. So the election's got to happen sometime in October. The October 10th date is because in Bennington and North Bennington is the bond vote issue for the sewer system upgrades. So the thought was to combine, rather than have two separate vote dates and put the town clerks through two separate ones, to do it combined on October 10th. So that's what's driving that date, and then our deadline is 45 to 30 days before that.
All right, so let me understand this correctly.
You have to
We
vote.
are voting on
You have to
October
vote to
10th,
have the vote.
and that's voting
Okay.
to...
Ballot
have
vote,
the-
yep.
So the people can say we either want to merge or we don't want to merge.
Correct.
And at the same time, any board member that wants, anybody that wants to be on that board has to be on that ballot October 10th?
Correct. Yeah, it is a tight timeline, but, you know, we have been at this for almost 2 years now, trying to get to this point, and,
A lot longer than that,
yeah.
than 10 or 15 anyway, for different titles, but the same.
With different titles with the same agenda, yeah.
With
But
the
the
same,
Act 46 committee, and one, whether exploratory or the first formal committee, it was formed pretty close to 2 years ago now. And then disbanded and then formed as an exploratory committee, then reformed as a formal committee. So, I think it's amazing that they've gotten to this point, and we'll see if we're successful in getting, you know, it warned by all the boards, then we'll see how the public feels about it on October 10th.
Oh, so prior to October 10th, you're going to have the carousel meeting of all the boards to decide whether they want to put it on.
Yeah, I would imagine that board carousel meeting, if not next week, will be no later than the week of the 28th of August.
All right. And the rest of the boards are advisory?
Bennington,
Bennington
the
is-
Act 46 committee listed Bennington as
Wait,
necessary
guys,
and listed all the other boards as advisory. So
that's what I
So
thought.
Bennington has to vote to merge, the others can vote it down. If the majority of those that are members of MAU vote to merge, then the merger moves forward. And those that voted not to join are then left on their own. They have to file by December with the state what their plan would be.
Yeah. All right.
That's what's been keeping me a little busy.
Yeah, I know it's been keeping you busy.
And I think I heard the number today, I know it's not Pownal, all of Pownal, but between support staff, teachers, administrators, 63 positions to fill. This is for this coming school year that we had to fill. We still have a few open. We do a new teacher orientation tomorrow at the middle school for all our new teachers. And that's actually a little fewer than what we've had in the past 2 years, but roughly
63.
it's under 10% of our staff. So I think that's pretty average.
Do they fill out a exit?
So that's something that the HR department has certainly worked to try and find, but we can't force somebody to do it, and
Right.
participation has not been,
Yeah. And I don't imagine of the 63 that a big percentage is people that have been there for a long time.
well, that includes people who are retired, people who have taken
Yeah.
other positions and all that, yeah. So,
None from Pownal. Okay, thank you.
thank you. And Renee isn't here tonight, but I do have the warrant.
Oh, yes.
And Jim, we talked about the facilities here and how things are on pace and everything else. Can you kind of touch upon what the district looks like? Would we still have
Yeah.
our,
Yeah, if we're, you saw the headline probably in the Bennington Mail today about the issue in Shaftesbury. We made the decision that is, once we knew the asbestos was there when the ceiling came down, we had options that we could have put the ceiling back up and said the project's off for another year. I didn't want to spend a year convincing parents that the asbestos is encapsulated in pipe insulation above the ceiling and it's of no danger. But, so the decision was made that we will remove the asbestos. We're being told August 24th before the contractor can begin, 5 to 7 days. They're gonna work night and weekends. Hopefully, they will be able to open. I have a meeting Bennington Facilities Committee tomorrow afternoon at Molly Stark. It appears the monument and Bennington Elementary School renovation projects are on track. Molly Stark is a little behind. Hopefully, monument, Molly Stark will be done soon enough that those crews will be shifted over to Molly Stark in an all-out effort to get the school to open on time. It wouldn't be my intent that say that those schools couldn't open. I would not delay the opening for all schools. I think that we will have to work that out bus-wise. The high school will still be there. I understand that for some parents, if I let the high school go to school and say Bennington and Shasbury don't open on time, there might be some childcare issues with older adults watching that. We'll attempt to work through that and be understanding of those needs. But no, it wouldn't be my intent to delay the opening of school for all schools. We'll do a staggered opening for those schools that are impacted. And I'm hoping that that isn't going to happen still, but not so much the case in Shasbury because the classrooms are intact. It's that construction is really in the hallway. The Bennington Elementary schools, all three of them, the classrooms resemble your bookshelves here. They're covered in plastic and all pushed into the center of the room, and all teacher belongings are in boxes. So the construction project has to end in time to allow the staff to re-enter the building because they've been construction zones off limits all summer. They'll re-enter the building and go in and set up their classrooms, unpack everything. Buildings need to be cleaned. It's going to be tight, but depending on what I hear tomorrow and when we know that the asbestos contractors got the paperwork back from the state in Shaftesbury, I don't anticipate making a decision until next week before I would have all information on whether we can open on time.
Okay, thank you. With my welcome letter to the families, we'll be mailing that out on Monday. So I wanted to make sure our start date was September 5th, so that parent letter will go out on Monday.
Yeah, Woodford, Pownal, and the middle school and high school, I see no reason why they can't open on time.
Very good.
When
So I
is the
would like to
open house?
thank, go ahead.
When is the open house?
When's the open house?
The open house, I have it on my other calendar, but I'll get in touch with you, John. It's not the Tuesday the 5th, but the following, is that the 12th? 12th.
September 12th.
You gonna grill for us
Open
again?
house.
Yeah, no, I just want to be sure.
Yeah.
And I want to get that gas grill, get a tank down so you can get that cooked off. So
Yeah, good.
Is Kevin here?
He
this
is.
week?
Mhm. He wasn't here today, but he will.
Yeah, I'll drop a tank off so you can burn that off.
I just want to say thank you to Dawn Campbell, our summer school coordinator. She did a great job his first year. Our summer academic session and the summer rec program here at Pownal went off very easily. The kids had a good time. So I want to thank the board for the support of the summer sessions. Getting ready for the beginning of the school year, August 30th. We'll all be, teachers will be here. It's a building day. In the morning, we'll have a staff meeting. We're working on focusing on de-escalation of behaviors, and that's our morning session. In the afternoon, we're working on technology integration with Ruben Pentadura. He's kind of nationally renowned and working some with our district to integrate technology in the classroom. August 31st is the SU day. Welcome in the morning, and then in the afternoon we're working with Dave Milnick with trauma sensitive schools, training on that, and then the following day here at Pownal we're doing a book study that he recommended on trauma sensitive schools.
Oh,
And then we have our yearly compliance tutorials that all staff need to view and answer some questions, and that has to do with bloodborne pathogens, child abuse, sexual harassment, FERPA, and bullying. So we'll get all those trainings in, and we will be ready to start school on the 5th.
yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because bullying is still top, and I think that needs to be brought every year. It just needs to be refreshed. So I think I'm not sure how often it happens in the elementary. I mean, it does happen, but not probably as much as it does in the middle school, but it's there. And I think it's important because years ago, it was considered bullying, but I spent a lot of time in the classroom and I can still hear the teachers say to them, oh, they're just arguing with you, it's not really bullying, blah, 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 and it's not true anymore. It is bullying. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that all you have?
It is.
Okay. Well, I'll be brief. Thanks, John. Unfortunately, I was only able to attend 2 of the Act 46 meetings, and the first one I wasn't able to vote, but I voted the second one. And I walked away from the Act 46 meeting kind of depressed. Because number one, they're asking us, the outlining districts, to pay part of the $4 million that Bennington has taken out, and grant you, the Bennington taxpayers have already agreed to pay it, but now all of a sudden it should be shared by all the outlining districts, and I totally don't agree with that. And I let them know that Pownal, number one, has very little businesses, and they keep dangling this incentive, 8 cents, 6 cents, 4 cents, and 2 cents. But to me, the bond goes on a lot more than 4 years. And this, to me, it may be a tiebreaker as far as Pownal voting for this issue. And Shasbury's mentioned the same thing. I'm still investigating it. I'm still trying to ask the right people. As far as one board, part of me agrees with that. But I do not agree with the outlining districts having to pay a portion of that $4 million. And I'm sorry, that's just my personal feeling. I'm not totally against Mr. Coquine. I realize and sympathize with you for all the boards that you have, meetings you have to go to. One board would make it a lot easier. But I think the speediness of this, and I just feel like we're being bullied. You got to do this, you got to get it done, you got to vote here, you got to do this. And to me, I spent 17 years serving on the children of this school. And now all of a sudden I feel like I'm going to be shortchanging them. And I really do, and it saddens me to think that. But hopefully, in the end, it'll all come out. And I really not only care for the children, I care about the taxpayers in this town, because it's made up of a lot of older people who have no children in this building. And to see their taxes go the way they're going to, and I know somebody's going to say, well, Pownal's going to save. Well, you know what? We're not. And it's never been. I worked on the red program. They only changed it from a color to a number, Act 46. The red program was just as bad as this one. So they haven't really, in my book, come up with a whole lot, except they put one district against the other. And that's all I feel. That's from where I sit, that's what I'm looking at.
May I comment?
Yes, you, sir.
It's extortion by the state. That's plain and simple, that's what it is.
Yes.
The only thing, and we had to adopt some crap about this is good for the kids, it's good for this, it's good for that. Doesn't do a damn thing for education.
No.
The only thing it does is take the pressure off the superintendent's office. That's all it does. Which is not a bad thing,
No.
but that doesn't help the kids.
No.
Everything that's in place, I mean, we have everything in place, the SBSU has everything in place for the educational, for the kids. So no matter what we do with this Act 46, it's not going to enhance anything, okay? And it's extortion. They're
Well-
giving you a carrot to vote the way they want you to vote.
Exactly.
And if you don't vote the way they want you to vote, they're going to tell you what to do. They're going to take the carrot away. They're going to punish you. It's just that simple.
And in 5 years, they may even take your building,
Right.
So.
And look at Woodford. Woodford
Yes,
has to share they get money from the state because they're all, 95% forest.
Yeah.
That's going to go away. you know, and it's gonna jack their taxes up.
Well, on a positive note, we will be at that carousel meeting, so we can hear,
Can I say a couple things?
you sure can.
Yeah.
So, I know this really reflects a change in how things have always happened here. This isn't just about superintendents wanting to go to less meetings. I also think that educationally it does do a few things. It gives us flexibility on where students can go. It possibly could give school choice. We haven't even begun to explore that. Or creating magnet schools. We run basically every elementary school the same, where this could become the arts magnet school, and another one could become the science magnet school, and students, based on what they desire to learn, that gives us that opportunity to do something like that under this arrangement. I do understand, I know that there's doubt about the numbers and all that, but my understanding is that initially you see a 15 cents reduction in your tax rate, right?
Tax rate.
Tax rate.
Which got
for
nothing to
education.
do with the tax bill.
It's still a reduction,
If
but
you need $1 million, your tax rate's, 10%, then you're gonna pay $100,000. If you need $1 million and your tax rate's 8%, you're gonna pay $97,000. It's
So-
got nothing to do with the rate.
so you think that the superintendent gets something out of this that goes to one board. What you get out of this, what Pownal, Shaftesbury, and Woodford, the three of you in particular, is I think you get equal representation on the governance board, because the model that we've selected uses the Mount Anthony. And if we do nothing, or we vote this down, and the state comes down in 2019 and imposes this on us, they get to select the governance model. And they could go with proportional, which they most likely will, which you would lose seats on that board if it went proportional versus how it is with the Indian board. And that's,
And we would not sit quietly.
I understand that, but
So far,
Yeah.
people have been sitting quietly, and they shouldn't.
there's been the caution, and no one has a crystal ball to predict how vigorous the state is going to enforce this. But the caution I have is there's so many districts that have gone before us. Do you think the state is really going to sit by and not do anything that those that don't consolidate or take any action?
But I
when
understand-
They've required everyone else to do it.
I understand that some of the boards that did join and thought they were gonna save money, they went up 8 and 10%. They did not save money. It cost them more money. And I've heard the issue, maybe Pownal would be an artsy place, but we live in an area where we have to bus our children. So if you have 3-4-year-old kids, grades 3 and 4, you're gonna bus them to Bennington?
Shaftesbury.
Or
Shaftesbury,
They're gonna be on a
They-
bus for 45 minutes to an hour.
How is that gonna help the education of our children by moving them around and keeping them on a bus for 45 minutes? Parents are not gonna go for that. And I'll tell you another thing. People come into this town, they buy a home, and they look at the school and they say they like this community school. And once this Act 46 gets in, this will no longer be a community school. It will be run by Bennington. And years ago, I heard a superintendent say, why would Bennington care about Pownal?
Well, let's not talk about superintendents that aren't here anymore, all right?
But they were true.
Do you think Bennington runs Mount Anthony?
I think Bennington.
I don't think it does. I sit at those meetings, and I think that it's almost townless as far as identity of who runs that school. It's a different mindset that they're all our students, it's all our school.
And you don't think that's going to change? I do.
No, I don't. I think that.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't.
like I said, on a positive note, we will be at that carousel meeting, and we will let you know. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry I spoke.
I'm not. All right, budget status reports are enclosed for FYI. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 20th. And the student enrollment, it will be available in September. Okay, we need to adjourn to
Go into executive session.
executive session to discuss
So,
the personnel of contract wages.
And you will reconvene to take action.
Yes, we will. Okay.
Second.
won't take long. All right, motion been made and seconded?
Yeah.
Okay, we will go in, Mike, we will be out shortly.
We want to motion, we come back into session.
Second.
Okay, motion been made, we're back in session. Okay, and we need a
Make a
motion.
motion that we give the off-contract employees a 3% increase.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to offer the off-contract wages, off-contract people a 3% raise. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. It's unanimous. Okay, is there any other business to come before the board?
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded, all right, and thank you, see you in September. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.